I think, he's a very nice guy. It's nothing that he's like a jerk or anything. In fact, this is probably more of a compliment to him. But I think Omar is probably a really good player. So I feel like he's probably the toughest to end it with in the final game.
I'm just trying to survive. Yeah. I don't have a specific target.
Yeah.
I got a feeling that people are gonna let me get all the way to the end because they're gonna undermine my ability. So they're like, if it comes down to a game, we want Kevin in the finals. But what they don't know is I got something on my sleeve. So,
to be honest, not really anyone in particular, but I think it always depends on who's talking trash that night. So I think that's gonna play a little bit into it.
First of all, whoever's not here is the easiest target. So I don't see Omar's name on the list.
Dead draw week 3. We got our final 8. I'm gonna keep things short and sweet because this week was rather uneventful. Reason being that Justin notified the group beforehand that he would not be able to make it because he needed prepared to get his wisdom teeth pulled out. So Justin not going to be able to play for his safety. What we didn't know was that another player would also not be coming. And we wouldn't know that until we started the Wednesday weekly. Just gonna get straight to the eliminations. Justin is eliminated. And Omar, one of the front runners in terms of playing ability and one of the biggest targets, is unceremoniously eliminated simply because both him and Justin were not at the Wednesday weekly. The remaining 6 just agreed we will vote them out and they are gone. There's no reason to stress it for everyone else waiting for votes. These guys, unfortunately, are the first 2 members of the jury. Go here. And we got our final 6. Now, going into the final 6, very clear who's at a disadvantage here. You got 2 guys versus 4 guys. If those 4 guys don't turn on each other, then one of these 2 guys, Kevin or Miguel, are guaranteed to leave in the final 6. Their only hopes are to win out, just go undefeated in Wednesday weeklies, or hope that they can potentially get one of the Muff Squad to turn against them and throw a vote their way. If Miguel, Kevin, and one of them make the vote a 3-3 tie, you potentially get a, tiebreaker based on randomness. And those are pretty grim odds. They're a pretty tight 4. As Gildy had already explained in episode 1, this is basically an unspoken bond between these 3, Gilly, Danny, and Alvarez. They're not going to vote for each other. So they're not going to get broken up. And Anthony Guevara has no reason, really, to turn on them. He would rather just take the likely free ride to the Final 4 and hope he's able to win out from there. If he's confident enough that he can beat Gilly, Danny, and Alvarez in Pokemon, then he feels that's his best way to the end. So going into week 4, we definitely have a difficult week for one side of the alliances, and The only worry that the Muff squad has is that Miguel goes on a winning streak. No longer they have to worry about Omar, but there is a new sheriff in town. Who in the game do you feel closest to right now?
Probably Danny and Anthony Alvarez.
I'm going to go with the OGs. It's going to be Miguel and Ant.
Well, who do you feel closest to?
Oh, I would say probably Alvarez.
I mean, Alvarez. I mean, no questions asked.
So I definitely feel closest to Kevin.
Week 4, dead draw. Got our final 6. I asked the players who they felt closest to get a gauge on, within the Muff squad, who's closest to whom. And even branching out to Kevin, it seems very clear that the player playing the best game, at least socially, is Anthony Alvarez. Everyone considers him his number 1. And so at this point, I'm thinking part of the dominant alliance, solid player in his own right, and everyone considers him his closest ally. So this guy, I'm thinking, there's no way he doesn't win this entire game. Alvarez has seemingly been, since day 1, the front runner. And ultimately, while Danny Zub is doing a lot of strategizing in this pair, it doesn't matter in the eyes of the jury if they like the other guy more. So Alvarez wants to see him in the final 2 with Zubby, and that's what I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Other thing I'm going to be keeping an eye on is Miguel. Miguel, I consider to be the biggest threat to win out. Just dominate these guys on the board and just take it all the way to the end. Miguel will be the one who chooses, basically, who's going to get to the final 2. That's what I'm thinking at this point. And coincidentally, Miguel did not choose as his closest ally. He chose Kevin. Specifically Kevin. So, ultimately going into Final 4, if Miguel is still there, but Kevin isn't, where's Miguel gonna go? But for now, we're on Final 6. Let's get to the first votes. Miguel getting clear majority. It is clear here that there is a very clear divide. It's just Muff Squad versus Kevin and Miguel against the world. And they throw their votes on Gilly, but it doesn't matter. The Dominant Alliance wants Miguel out. They are afraid to play him in the card game. They are very intimidated. However, Miguel wins round 1. So this may have been a misfire. Maybe they should have waited until Miguel lost a game. But that didn't happen. Miguel's 1-0, but he is currently the first nominee for elimination in the final 6. Getting very close to the finish line. Now going into round 2, Gilly and Kevin both lost their first round, and I'm sure Miguel and Kevin will want to target him again, but they may realize at this point that it's a lost cause. There is no way for them to break through this alliance, at least at this point. There isn't too much time between votes, only about 30 minutes. And they may have just been too late to doing the work. We're just gonna get on to the second vote, because this is where things get spicy. Kevin is voted out with 4 votes, and Kevin also lost to Gilly in the second round, so Kevin's 0-2, while Miguel won his second round. Miguel's 2-0. So if these guys wanted Miguel out, maybe they should have targeted someone that wasn't just losing. But they may have felt, we need to get Kevin out. He's the last person not in our alliance. They don't want to go against each other yet. So Kevin receives 4 votes. And Kevin, being a bundle of emotions, wears his heart on his sleeve, feels betrayed by Alvarez, who he considered one of his closest. He figured, at least Alvarez won't vote for me. He hasn't voted for me yet. He doesn't think. And even though Kevin realizes at this point he probably won't be able to make it through the night, can he at least get, 1 vote from Alvarez thrown at, like, Gilly or Anthony Guevara? But no, Kevin, whether jokingly or not, is annoyed at Alvarez. He feels betrayed. And this was the first vote that I felt, oh man, things are steaming up in this game. It took 4 weeks. It took 8 votes, 8 formal votes, to finally get someone upset at this majority alliance. But Kevin is our champion. Unfortunately, Kevin will go down this week. He cannot catch up to Miguel's record. He will not be able to win immunity. But another question is raised. Miguel's 2-0, and the rest of the field seemingly can't catch up to him. So, finally, this far in, the Muff Squad will have to turn on each other. And the question is, who are they going to turn on? And ultimately, we will see right now who's going down. Anthony Guevara, just at the finish line, is thrown under the bus by his alliance. Kevin throws a vote at Alvarez out of spite. Anthony votes for Gilly, probably tried to convince them Gilly's too personable, and he's better than me, maybe. However, it was set in stone. Anthony Guevara, as soon as Miguel was able to win out, his fate was sealed.
I want to, I'm kind of allies with Danny, but then we need to keep, I was told we need to bring Gilly on board. we need to keep a weak link in. I hate to throw shots, but so it's part of our strat here. So we're trying to get Gilly to the end.
Okay.
And unfortunately, he goes out just at the finish line for final 6. Very unfortunate. I very much enjoyed Kevin watching him play. And Anthony Guevara, I thought, for someone new to these games, played very, very well. For someone who didn't have as many pre-existing relationships, was able to make it very far. And had he been able to outperform Miguel in this week, we could see him in the Final Four. But that is just not how it went. Unfortunately, we lose Kevin. We lose Anthony Guevara. And we have our Final Four. As you'll see, I was able to record the aftermath of these brutal vote outs and subsequently my explaining to the Final Four of how the end game will play out. Next time on Dead Draw, you'll see how this plays out.
Betrayed.
If you feel betrayed,
I
on
feel
that?
nothing but betrayal. My strongest allies were really my biggest enemies, and I learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
Once Gilly was colluded by the other two, and he wouldn't make eye contact with me, I knew what happened, and Miguel has been my strongest ally, and Miguel for life. I should have colluded from an earlier stage, and I should have played both sides. Should have went with Anthony and them and colluded with them while also colluding with Miguel, and I would have made it to the end because I would have been safe.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I didn't play it right. She agrees, and here we are, eliminated, stabbed in the back, bleeding out.
We all know this, okay? So we need Miguel out because nobody wants to play against Control, okay? So that was the strategy heading in the top 6. You're my boy.
Okay, I respect that.
You're my boy. You're my boy.
Okay,
All right, on to me. Nobody wants to play against Control, all right? So the strat was, coming into this week, all right, Kev and Anthony are the newest homies to the group, right? So it came down to collaboration at that point, okay? Now, Anthony has been collaborating with us the whole time.
Who was the first person to throw my name in?
I'm explaining. So Anthony was the first one to collaborate with us, right? And Gilly's obviously the homie too, right? So we're like, all right, bet. So
You
we were
all
gonna
in?
Except for, yeah, you guys were on the outside looking in. Us four, we tried to plan it.
I predate all you. No,
This whole
Yeah.
the rest of you guys.
We tried to make it so
Wait,
us four
you don't
top four,
predate
right?
me.
However,
They predate me.
However, wait, this is the wrench. This is the
I
wrench.
started in
This is the wrench,
2008.
right? So after round
Give me the
one,
tool scrapper.
Oh,
Give me the
in terms
tool
of-
scrapper.
somehow
Yeah.
after
Okay,
round one,
so-
Miguel knew that me and Alvarez voted for him, right? So now this is a problem. Okay, this is already a problem, right? So then after round two, wait, after round two, Miguel was 2-0, right? So now we're like, oh shit, we can't vote on Miguel anymore because we might go 3-0, right? So there's only one solution.
I never had a chance.
Listen, my only out to top 4 was voting for Anthony, and that's what we did.
All right, so guys, got our Final Four here. Got Danny, got Alvarez, got Miguel, got Gilly. So next week we're gonna be doing the Final Four. Instead of you guys playing in the normal event, I'm going to be paying for your entries, but you're going to be playing in a double elimination pod. What's called. So you guys will be randomly paired together for one round, and then it'll be a double elimination bracket.
I'll take the prizes now.
The winner of that bracket will have the most power of the game so far in choosing one person to bring to the final 2. The other two.
Wait, say that again?
The only person that gets to vote next week and the person that will have full control over the final two people who go home is the person who wins a double elimination bracket between you four gentlemen. Now, the final two, you guys should know, is going to be determined by a vote between these 6 people voted out before the final two. Yes. We got Kevin, Anthony, we got Justin over there, and we got Omar, who is left today. But you guys have all the information you now need for the final stage of the game, and so yeah, make sure you're here next week. You guys will all be getting prizes just for making top 4, and you will not have to pay your entry fee for.
We're all winners.
What is your question, Miguel?
The question, you said the person who wins the bracket gets to bring
One
someone
person.
to the top 2, but is it an assumption that that person is also going into the top 2?
Yes.
So the person who wins.
The person who
and
wins.
The person they pick.
The person who wins is guaranteed a spot in final 2. That is the only way to guarantee your spot.
If I choose somebody in the top 4,
So
What?
can I choose somebody in the top 4 to bring with me to the final?
Yes, you choose someone among the final 4 to bring. Yes.
So one of you two win. I know who you're taking.
We can all just go buddy buddy and say, yo, that's, you know.
I think there's already a pretty clear line. I think there's a pretty clear line in the sand.
I have another question.
Figure this out.
You said what is the role of the other 6? You said
The other 6 will vote for between the final 2 for a winner. If you're asking what happens in the event of a tie, well, I'll tell you guys then. Next time on Dead Draw.
Tough. I don't, I think that's a game time decision.
I mean, honestly, my biggest competition I feel like is clearly Alvarez.
I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm just a little shaky on what deck to play.
I actually kind of like the position I'm in.
Who do you think you can beat